much, Chris. I'm in Avignon, France. I'm 16 on holiday with my family. My father is trying, in English, to negotiate a table for dinner. Blank looks from the Frenchman, frustration from Dad, and for me, at 16, can you imagine the utter embarrassment? So I step in with my schoolgirl French, and voila, communication is established, and very soon we are tucking in to steak frites. I was thrilled. That moment crystallized for me the power of being able to speak to someone in their own language. And it's a lesson that we can take into business. You see, there are two languages in business. There's what and there's so what. And today I'm going to talk about how learning to speak so what enhances communication and increases sales. Now, I'm sure that you've got brilliant products, fantastic service, wonderful technology. But do you sometimes find it a bit hard to translate that into sales? And if so, why might that be? Has it ever occurred to you that it could be down to the language that you're speaking? In my 30 years in the IT sector, my observation was that companies with great products are really good at telling you what they do, but they're not quite as good at explaining so what, the value that they bring. And the reason is that technology companies in particular, but a lot of companies with great products, are so enthusiastic about their product. They're so in love with their product, so proud of their product, that they imagine that the rest of the world is going to feel the same way. But guess what? They don't. Customers aren't actually interested in your technology. They're not interested in products. What they are interested in is what it can do for them. Increase sales, save money, make customers happier. So when I left the corporate world in 2015, I made it my mission to help companies to communicate their value, their so what. And I developed a methodology called Connect, Convince, Convert. And I even wrote a book about it. And I used that methodology to help technology companies and anyone with a complex product to explain their value. And I do that through three main services. First of all, message strategy, because a lot of companies just throw content out there willy-nilly, scattergun, hoping that some of it will stick. And they're wasting time, effort, and money. So I help them develop a strategy for their message, work out what they want to say and who they want to say it to, so that they have a message that is clear, customer focused, and consistent. I also help them with content creation, because not everybody has the time or the skills to write their own content. So I write content for them. And these are the 10 main forms of business communication that organizations use. And for those who really do want to learn to do it themselves, I run communication workshops to teach them some of the skills and structures to do that themselves. So what does that look like, though, in terms of putting it into practice? And what are some things that you could take away and maybe put into practice in your business? So I'm going to share with you 6 tips for how to connect, convince, and convert. 2 tips for each. So first of all, if you want to really connect with the right people, make them want to engage with you, the first thing is to be very specific about who you're talking to. Now, I know that's counterintuitive, because we tend to want to say, I help everyone. But actually, the more specific you can be about your audience and who you're talking to, the more your message is going to resonate with them. And that means, for example, that a website needs to act like a mirror. And the first thing customers should see is themselves, so they know they're in the right place to help you make that connection. And this is something that I did with this client, Redcat, who are a software company based in Melbourne. And as you can see, they service the hospitality industry. So on this website, I made sure that was front and center. It's the very first thing that visitors see. Oh, these people work with hospitality. And the second thing that you see is which specific sectors of hospitality they work with. Another website I did recently with my guest today, the lovely Rachel Baker, was this one for a company in Melbourne, an engineering company called EasyFast. And the design, this lovely design, is by Rachel, but we wanted to show very quickly who is their target audience. And these are just two examples of about 6 or 8 of the industries they work with. The second thing, if you want to make a connection, is think about head versus heart. Now, you might think that in business, you make all the decisions with your head. But actually, in reality, all the research shows that even in business, we make decisions with the heart. Why is it important to know that? It's important because it means that when we're communicating, we have to share a little bit of our passion, our why. So, for example, to use the EasyFast website again, that's why I put in there their story, which goes back over 100 years. And we put in an image of the entire workforce team. It makes them human and helps build that connection by sharing some of their passion and their story. So what about when you want to convince? How do you use communication to convince people that you understand them and that you can help them achieve their goals? Well, the first thing is to share useful information. Now, tell me, when you pick up a newspaper, who turns straight to the ads? No, not really seeing any hands there, me neither. Because when you read a newspaper, you want to be educated, informed, maybe entertained. You don't want to read ads. And it's the same with business communication. Your clients do not want to read ads from you. So share information about the things that are meaningful to them. With this client, who's an international client, again in the software sector, I write 2 ebooks a year for them, which are published on their website and which tackle questions that their audience wants answered. Their audience are retailers around the world, and these ebooks tackle questions they want answered. Similarly, we do 2 blogs, 2 articles every month on questions that are important to them. The second tip, if you really want to convince people that you can help them, is tell stories. Stories about people you've already helped. Stories are the most powerful form of communication. So if you can tell stories about people you've helped, they're more likely to be convinced you can help them. This client, IMI, who are in Australia, they install IT equipment around Australia and New Zealand, and they've got some fabulous household names as really, really happy clients, but they were their best kept secret. Not anymore. We've put them front and center on the website, and this is just one page from a booklet with about 12 case studies in it, showcasing their really happy customers. Thirdly, if you want to convert, how do you make sure that your communication takes people from being prospects to being customers? Well, my first tip is tell them what's in it for them. Everyone wants to know how they're going to benefit. They don't want to know about your product. They want to know what's in it for them. This client, you might just recognize this website. So I wrote the content for the Fresh website, and I wanted to make sure that the benefit really stood out. And this is the first thing people see when they come to the Fresh website. And it talks about genuine connections leading naturally to business referrals. So straight away, somebody visiting the site sees what's in it for me. Oh, business referrals. That's what's in it for me. So make sure that you're very clear on benefits. And the second thing about conversion is to remember, first of all, that your prospect may not be ready for you right now. So you have to keep in touch. And even if they are ready for you right now and they buy from you, converting is not a one-off process. You want to stay in touch so that they come back to you again and again, and they tell others about you. And one of the best ways of staying in touch is a newsletter. So this client, Toshiba, who I'm sure you all know of, they sell a lot of, they sell to schools. They sell photocopiers, scanners, and printers to schools, but only every 3 or 4 years to any one school. So in the meantime, they stay in touch with a newsletter that's actually not primarily about their technology. It's about topics that are of interest to that client, like staff and student well-being. So that helps them to stay in touch. So just to summarize, if you want to connect, then make sure that you are really specific about your target audience and share your passion as well as just cold, hard facts. If you want to convince people you can help them achieve their goals, share useful information that showcases your expertise and tell stories about others you've helped. And if you want to convert, tell them what's in it for them and stay in touch with them. Now, if you can do that and you can connect and convince and convert, you will be absolutely sure that you have a message that is in so what language, a message that resonates with your customers and drives more sales. So if you or someone you know is good at speaking about what, but wants to move on and start talking about so what, please connect with me, Carol Benton from Words to Win. Thank you.